Hi everybody! Yahoo! Welcome. Here we got in chat. Yahoo! Get to catch a stream this time. I intentionally try to stream earlier just because I know that your bedtime is quite early. Obviously now my job finishes at like midnight, so it's kind of hard to stream. Yahoo, Alisa! Yahoo! I got loads of fun things to talk about tonight. I got my big juice. Make sure you all got yourself a nice drink and we can chill. Today we're just gonna do a chat and then not tomorrow, but like next time I stream, we're gonna play this game called Cult of Lambs. Recently, I've been into my scary games, even though I really don't like horror. I'm really trying. It was actually purchased by Darby. Thank you, Darby. Darby, yahoo! Love the hair. Thank you. It's kind of messed up because I've been out all day, and it said like 24 degrees. So I thought that it would be I thought it would be cool, and it wasn't. It was really humid today. I don't know if anyone went out. I don't know how it was so humid. Like, it felt like 30 degrees even though it was like 24. Blue hair, yeah. I did it by accident. I wanted to like the same shade as I got at the salon, but I don't know color theory, man. I just bought some dye from Amazon. This is Manic Panic Shocking Blue. I thought that if I wash it a few times, maybe it will go back to the other thing, but whatever. We're just having fun. This is the first job I've had in a while where I could dye my hair, so I'm just having a nice time experimenting. I have to say, it's so disgusting still because of the humidity. Yeah, the weather sucks. Like, it's October and it's so awful. I said, yeah, I hope you play more horror games. They're perfect for the October month. No, exactly. The one we're going to play next time is called Cult of the Lamb. It's not exactly horror, but it's giving Halloween. Yowdy, hi Joshu. Sorry I didn't reply to your message on Instagram. Yeah, I received a lot of messages and yeah. What was I gonna say? Today I got Butskari Otoko in like a shopping mall. Butskari Otoko is a guy who like shoves people, and it's like a phenomenon that I think is like only really Japan. Like, I'm sure it happens elsewhere, but it's like so common in Japan, like it has its own name. Like, normally an older guy who doesn't really like women and they push past women like really, really strongly. They like shoulder charge, I forget how it's called, but like they budge you with their shoulder. And this guy did it to me today in the mall when I was with my two friends, and they were shocked. They were like, oh my god, that man just pushed you. And I laughed, and I was filming a vlog. I didn't catch that part, but I put on my camera and I followed him, and I was like, that guy just biscari otoko to me. And the guy could hear me and he was trying to like shuffle away. So I just tried to like shame him a bit. He was just like an ordinary looking like awesome. So yeah, I was like, oh, because we just had a discussion about biscari otoko on Twitter. I made a post about it and it went pretty viral, and there were people that like it's not really a thing, like maybe it was just an accident, blah blah blah, but like you can definitely see. Yay! Strangles. That's how I read stuff. Darby, you're the best! Darby's really the best recently. Thank you so much. It's been a hard couple of months, so Darby's been a really good support. You've all been a really, really good support. I wanted to talk to you today. I don't know, this is another Twitter thing, but I wanted to talk to you about some like jfashion drama. And it's kind of fun and juicy actually. I think everyone's going to enjoy it. Joshua said, sorry, I'm like slurping. It's happened to me before in the UK right after I got back from traveling. No way, it does happen in the UK. Like, I'm sure it does, like guys pushing you, but this is like, the funny thing is, it's like you'll see him on my video. This guy looks like the kind of guy to do this too. It's like, and as he did it, he was like, kind of like thing. A lot of this guy exists, and why? Like, it's not, bruh. You're not gonna, that's not gonna make the character from Uma Musume date you. Like, I'm sorry. Yes, Angel got the Pume drama. How do you even say Pume? Pume? I guess like in Japanese it's Pume, but we're gonna quit Pume for brevity's sake. Yeah, so if you guys don't know, I feel like the men aren't gonna understand about this yet, so I'm gonna educate you. There's this Japanese brand called perfume, and some of my friends like it. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but like girly, but like Jedi, black and white, cutesy fashion. I actually filmed a video today and I talked about this in there, so you're gonna hear this story twice. I'm sorry, but so yeah, it's like a cute, kind of like almost Jedi Ryosan Gata brand in Shibuya 109. And it's quite popular. A lot of my friends, I feel like it might be quite new, I'm not sure, but like a lot of my friends really, really like it. It's really cute. It kind of looks like honey cinnamon or like bubbles. My mate said if they did that shit in the UK, they get a black eye. Now, if someone pushes you in the UK, other people would step in and like do something, but here no one does anything about it. So, yeah. PM is pretty simplistic, Jedi Ryo-san, like, I feel that's a good way to describe it. I've always pronounced it Payum. We're gonna have to look at the katakana for this. I feel like it's PM. I don't know. Anyways, Japan. Honestly, Japan has the worst fucking naming conventions. A lot of this shit is like, how can you say this? Actually, yeah. I don't know what this stream bot is, but like, there it is. So yeah, so this set the stage. Is this cute brand, right? It went viral, I think yesterday or a couple of days, because this girl, and she's a minor, she said that she went in there with her mom and she tried on a dress, and that one of the staff said like, this dress is for skinny people, and was talking badly about the customer while the customer was trying it on, and she felt really, really sad. And this happened in front of her mom, so her mom also, like, it was just a bad situation, like everyone felt bad. So this went kind of viral because a lot of people commented, I went to PM and I was also body shamed, and the staff was really, really rude to me. And Japanese Twitter narrowed it down to like, I don't know if it's like, I need to look into it more carefully. Maybe I'll do that after the stream finishes. If I'm not sure how many stuff it was, but they found one in particular that's like really bad. So people are like, yo, this brand is like body shaming people and just really, really rude. And like, there's like reviews on their shop or like on a review thing, and they're all like, I went in there and know that this person was really rude to me. So not great. And then it got wilder because this brand released a statement and it said, there has been too much harassing of our staff online. We please refrain from harassment of our staff members. Like, it was insane. Like, it's the worst PR thing they could have done. And so that escalated even more. And then more people jumping on the bandwagon, more people saying like, this happened to me too, blah, 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 blah. And then people are speculating that the person who wrote that was the girl, was the shop staff that everyone was complaining about. And then ultimately, oh, yeah, someone subscribed. Thank you, Sucro. So yeah, then they released another statement, probably apologizing, and said that they're gonna like investigate and stuff like that. And that's where I think we're at now. I saw someone say it's like Brandy Melville of Japan. That is so funny. Joshi said, I googled perfume. Looks cute, also kind of basic. Yeah, it's very basic. It's like they're not doing anything new. It's like they took what like honey cinnamon and like bubbles and all those brands were doing, and they just did that. I guess it's cute though. In the storefront, I actually filmed it in one of my last videos where I went to 109, and it looks cute. Like the aesthetic is pretty good. There was once on Google Maps because of this drama. Oh no, yeah, I think it must have been Google Maps where people were reviewing. I'll read some of them. The Barbra Streisand effect. No, yeah, it's so true. It is the Barbra Streisand effect. They should just not have released that statement. That statement was wild. Like, oh my god. So yeah, people weighing in, and it brought up this other dialogue about like people who go to Shibuya 109. Do you feel shamed? Because a lot of people, when I tweeted about it, a lot of people said that they felt really uneasy in Shibuya 109, and I guess it does kind of have that reputation. And I'm wondering if anyone else here has. Yumeshi blue. Yumechi, yahoo! We're going to a spa tomorrow. So yeah, actually, Yumechi told me about this drama, and I got really into it. I was staying up last night, like searching on Twitter about it. It's nice that people are standing up for body shaming, because I feel like in Japan too, people don't really care so much if you get body shamed. So that's good. And like, yeah, some people commenting that this similar thing kind of happened to them when they went to 109, and I think that's really sad. Taylor said their one size is very small. I have a skirt from them, and it's more like XXX small. Imitate, you talking about Pume? Yeah, we were. We are talking about it. First of all, we had to take 10 minutes to figure out how to pronounce it. I think it's Pume. Someone think it's like Pime. I don't know. Pume. A wild Yumichi appears. Oh, your fans are in here. My said I've been to 109 like one time, and honestly, I had no issues. I only went to like one store there. Yeah, I think it really depends because I go to 109 all the time, and I haven't had really that many issues. But at the same time, now I think about it, there have been instances where I was with like a bunch of girls, and they were all really skinny, and a staff came up to us, and she was like, "Big size arimasu yo." Like, what do you mean fucking big size? Like, we can definitely, like, everyone I was with, like, could fit the stuff. Like, I don't know why you need to say that. And last time I was in there, someone came up to me, one of the staff, and they started talking about, like, the larger sizes. It was just like, I don't know if it was them intentionally being rude or if it was like them trying to help, but it's really fucking bad service. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, that's not what you want to hear. My, yahoo! My the best! Oh my god! My. Here we go. Nia got one! Yahoo! Fuck it, we bowl. Yes, we do. We're bowling today. I love you guys. Hell yeah! Yumichi didn't get one. She sucks. Joshi said, I went to Shibuya 109 not knowing it was basically entirely female clothes. That's so funny. That's so funny. So I definitely felt weird. There's normally like guys in there, like not like guys normally by themselves. Sometimes there are though. It's just like, you know, like guys buying stuff their girlfriend. So I don't think you should feel bad about that. But yeah, my friend also went in there. I talked about this in my video. But my friend went in there and tried on some shoes, and the shop staff went to help her put the shoe on, and then the staff said, wow, so hairy. So shit like that is like, because like it's hard because we're looking at it through such a Western lens, whereas like in Asia, body shaming is a little bit more normalized, so you have to think of it like that. Like them, like it's hard to differentiate which is like them genuinely being rude or it's just like a cultural thing that I mean it should not be, but like still. My, everyone loves my. Top floor is nerd stuff. Yeah, top floor is nerd stuff, which is good. Also, like it changes all the time. They have a lot of pop-ups, and also the bottom floor is like a food court, but not like a proper food court. It doesn't have like Taco Bell and Panda Express. It's all like bullshit. Like drinks that look like clouds and like strawberries on sticks. It's not like a real food court. It literally is that shoe song. That's so funny. Me said, I forgot where I heard it, maybe from Axe's staff training, but there's probably a better way to phrase it if you wanted to help plus size customers. That's exactly true. The fact that you are getting training is the key issue here. I think a lot of these shops don't really offer training to their staff so much. Maybe they'll teach them like what to say in Keiko, but I think they do need a little bit of help with customer relations, because I talked about this before. Like I think that Japanese customer service is very polite, but it's often not very good, and it's often like if you ask for anything deviating from what there is, they will not do it for you and stuff like that. They don't offer alternatives, and if you're like, do you have this, and they'll just be like, no. So they won't be like, okay, but how about this? And also if you're like making a reservation places, so many fucking times I ask them, can you do Friday at 7? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, what about Friday at 9? And then they're like, no. I'm like, okay, what about Saturday? It's like fucking offer an alternative. Like, I think it generally could be way better. Are they jealous because they are not Chewbacca? No, but like for real though, like often when I'm shopping for actual clothes, I'm there in my work clothes, like I'm coming from work. So I'm not super dressed up. Maybe my legs would be a little hairy, you know, like if you want me to buy stuff from your store, probably don't be rude to me, is all I'm saying. Aisa said, your point out physical features is rude in the West, but treated, yeah, atari in Japan. And it should not be. There, the like focus of physical stuff does interest me. And I didn't like it when I first came to Japan. I still don't really like it, but like a lot of people would comment on my facial features in a very specific way and say like, oh, you have long arms and stuff like that, or like you have a small face, or you have this eye shape, and it's very bizarre for Westerners to hear, but kind of normal in Asia, so you do kind of get used to it. But I never quite like I'll never enjoy it. Like I just think it's really, really unnecessary. And before I moved to Japan, I didn't even know that like people's faces could be big or small or like this kind of thing. So it like opened me up to see stuff I just don't really need to think about. Yumichi said, Ankuru tried to persuade me to buy shoes that were obviously too big. Oh my god, that's so bad. Yeah, I've had a lot of stuff that will try to sell me shit that is like obviously I would not want. I mentioned this in my video too, but I really don't like the worst culprits for this are like the subcool stores, like Reflem, Ill. I know there's so many of them now. The subcool stores are the ones that do like not like Jedi, but kind of like the more grungy like big t-shirts with like men had anime girls on and stuff like that. Those fucking stores, every time I go in there, they jump on me and they're like, oh wow, you're so cute, look at this, do you want to try on, and they'll follow you around the store. And there was one particular store in Yokohama, I can't go in there anymore because the one female staff would just follow me around, and I would be with my friend, and she'd be like, hey, why are you speaking in English? Why can't, she's like, I know you speak Japanese, can't you just speak Japanese with me? What are you talking about? It was really strange. And then she was like, exchange Instagrams with me. And so I'm forced to. And then I went to La Foret and they had the same store, and I'm like, oh, I can't go to the other one in Yokohama because that freak is gonna be there. So I went to the Harajuku La Foret one, and she was there. She was at that one too, and she recognized me, and then she was doing the same thing. It was very strange. I don't know. I don't know if it's like a British thing or like an anxious thing, but I really don't like being hounded when I'm shopping. It's not helpful to me at all. Travis, that's another one. Yeah, this store is like, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe, yeah, it is Travis. My, you jfashion genius. It was Travis because it has like all the sub-call brands. Like, Il doesn't have their own store. It's like all the sub-call brands in one place. The only store I really had a blast in was Vulcan Aphrodite. That's my go. I didn't have time to go into ACDC Rag. No, you should. ACDC Rag's always fun, and they have everything. Vulcan and Aphrodite, if you are looking to go shopping, is great because it has masculine clothes, has feminine clothes, and it's pretty cheap. It does mostly like subcool, but it's like gothic. It has Tenshi Kaiwai. It has everything. I'm such a big fan of Vulcan and Aphrodite, honestly. Yo, Paul Pingus, what up? I'm chilling in my room. My friend took me to like an accessory market today, and it was in the middle of nowhere in like a shopping mall. It was an amazing time. Fantastic. I love it when it's like the most random experience. Diego, yahoo! Oki said, I don't think it's a British thing. It's uncomfortable. Oki, for sure. I think I know you pretty well. You would be uncomfortable. I think some people are just more anxious. I'm quite anxious when I go shopping. For me, shopping is like a relaxing kind of like, I don't know, it's very healing for me. I don't want to be fucking hounded the whole time when I'm shopping. Hannah said, I went to an eyelets pop-up in Shibuya and got lucky because they were so nice. And there was a vaguely Tenchi looking Kunomi collection. Oh, sick. Yeah, like, because in 109, it's like a whole bunch of stores. So, like, I think it's you can't say, like, I think it really depends on the store. Like, when I go to 109, normally I have a nice time and it's fine. But like again, I do avoid the subcool stores in La Forêt, actually, in the basement floor with the subcool stores that I avoid. When you walk past them, they can't call you in English now. They're like, "Hello, you are cute, though. Come in," and it's really insane, and it makes me feel dirty and used. I really don't like it. Like, bruv, I just want some cool, cheap gothic clothes. Go to Vulcan and Aphrodite in 109. But there used to be 109 men's. Do you remember when, I don't even know what that store is called opposite, but there was 109 and there's 109 men's that has all the men's clothes in back in the day. And that was where you would go if you were lonely and thirsty and you wanted to look at Gyaruo guys. You would go there. And I actually went on a date with a Gyaruo guy who worked at 109 men's, and it turned out that he was gay. So this used to be a canon experience that women in Japan would go through. You to go on a date with a man from 109 men's and he'd be gay, but we can't even do that anymore because of capitalism. Alisa said, I like to shop with earbuds and headphones so staff don't talk to me. Oh my god, that's so smart. I need to start doing that. Yeah. I never know how to get them to like fucking leave me alone. I'm always like, oh, it's fine. Yeah, we're just looking. And then they still just follow me. Potpingus said, split the cost with a friend who wanted a second-hand Secret Honey cord, and now she's part of Sydney Lolita meetup. Now that's priceless. Ina! Secret Honey? They'll be serving sometimes. They do have some nice shit. Christina said, I always make sure to tell my retail co-workers to watch for body language before talking to a customer. See, stuff like this. They should be having some kind of training, which clearly the Stop Shop at Hume, where this whole controversy has blown up from, they just possibly they just needed that. Like, I don't know. Or maybe they're just a bitch. So tomorrow, I'm going to Shibuya a little bit just for a coffee. So I might go to 109. And I might go to PM, because at the start of this video, I was just filming a little weekend vlog. I talked about it today. So the second part, I'm going to go to PM. I don't know which staff it is. I don't know if I want to Google about it, but maybe I'll go in there and just like see. Is this stalking? Am I stalking? Is this a crime? Cyberpunk codes go crazy hard. I want to do more cyberpunk. Yeah, my you should do, so we can do a cyberpunk shoot together. That would be fun. I think a lot of styles would suit you. I would say focus less on what suits you and more on what you like. Because recently I've been into more like kakoike, like futuristic kind of stuff. And I know it doesn't necessarily suit my soft body and round features. I'm not like a cool type. But I like it because, you know, I want to wear it because I like it. As said, I do that too with headphones and all. Were you guys keeping the secret from me that I can just go shopping with headphones in and people leave me the fuck alone? I'm gonna start doing that. Yes! When Nia comes back, we can do a shopping meetup. Is hot dog a sandwich? Said, do you have any plans for traveling? So, I plan on going to China in December, just for a few days. I want to go to the cyberpunk city just to do like some photo shoots and a little vlogging and just a little break. I just need a break. I'm so tired. I'm so very tired. I just want a little break. I don't want to go too far though. And I fucking hate flying. So like somewhere close. Yumechi said, let's go to Korea. I do actually really want to go to Korea. I wonder what Korea's like at Christmas. That could be a plan. Why don't we go to Korea at Christmas? That could be fun, because Christmas in Japan's fucking bleak, man. Darby said, I'm only just started exploring outside of soccer foodie wear. Your soccer stuff goes real hard though, like, and like, recently I'm really into Adidas. But yeah, it's good to like, I wouldn't focus too much on like, oh, I wonder if that suits me on this, blah, blah, blah. More just like, that's sick, I'm aware of that. But try it. What I do is like my whole wardrobe is like 3 colors and then everything matches. When I first come to Japan, I would just be buying shit and then I had none of the stuff would go together. So try to at least think of stuff that goes with other shit you have, because that's the biggest pitfall you can fall into. Where I've bought stuff and it's like I have this top and I can only wear it with one thing that I own. Yuichi said, I have to verify this. It's cold as dicks, but let's go. Yeah, actually, Korea is both very hot and very cold. Essa, do you think Himekaji is coming back or becoming a trendy J fashion style again? Okay, so that's interesting that you said. We went to an accessory market today, and there was a brand. They're called Pink Hime, and they were quite popular back in the day. Maybe like 10 years ago. Yeah. And they were selling at this place. I'm like, oh my God, I remember this brand. I had a whole bunch of stuff of theirs. And yeah, I think it's quite possibly coming back because like Spins and Wigo and that they're doing like the Gyaru revival. So I think that's a natural progression. They haven't done too much Hime stuff, but it is coming back. I loved Hime Gyaru. When I first came to Japan, I was Hime Gyaru and had the big hair all the time. It was really fun and nice. Yo, Ace, what up? You missed us talking drama and stuff about J fashion brand that went viral for the wrong reasons. But I talked about it in my video. I'm going to upload the video in a couple of days after I go to Pune and assess the situation there. So, like, yeah, please watch it. Sankey said, very spiritless. Like, Christmas Day is just a normal day, basically. Oh, Christmas in... Oh, wait, Sankey said, we should go to Shanghai. Can we? Please, please. I like traveling with you. I would like to go to Shanghai with you. If anyone wants to go to China, I really want to go to China. Let's go to Shanghai. Yeah, Christmas in Japan, I think, is unsettling for me personally because in the UK, you have Christmas and then you have Boxing Day. And Boxing Day is the funner one of the two because Christmas Day is like stressed out. You're like cooking and like your family's there and it's all like lots of people arriving and you're opening your presents and everything's closed. But Boxing Day, the shops are open. So you can go to the shop with the gift card your grandma gave you and get a game, come back and like eat the leftovers from yesterday, which are more delicious. And it's basically Christmas part 2, but more chill. Whereas in Japan, the night of Christmas on the 25th, they start taking down the decorations. And from the 26th, everything's super like New Year's. And in Japan, New Year's is the bigger celebration, like it's the main celebration in Japan is Oshogatsu, New Year's, so everything's just centered about that, which makes sense, but I'm more of a Christmas girly. I do like New Year's in Japan though, it's very fun. I do recommend doing a New Year's in Japan if you have the chance. If you can do it with a Japanese family, it's so good. That was the upside of having like a Japanese ex-boyfriend is we'd go to his family's house for New Year's and it would be like sick as hell. It's very different from the West version of New Year's. My said Boxing Day is a funny one for me because it's my birthday. No, having your birthday close to Christmas sucks. I'm sorry. That's really cute though. Yes, Derby. Oh, you went to China already? That's good. I want to know how it was. I heard it's easy to get scammed there. A lot of like people try to tell you to go places with them and they charge you like exorbitant amounts of money. But that also happens in like Kabukicho. So I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I wouldn't get scammed. I feel like I'm built different. Taylor said Lizzie's has been releasing a lot of Himekaji pieces. Yeah. I do miss Himekaji. I think it is getting more popular. I'm glad that like I really like Jidai, but I don't like the kind of, it's called like Azuki, that pink, like purpley pink, because it really clashed with my hair at the time when I was blonde. So I do miss Himekaji because it's more like pastels. Pastel pink is cuter, in my opinion. Aisa said, my friend was raised there and she says it's super fun. Hell yeah! George said, as a Christmas baby, I'm so glad for places where Christmas isn't a big deal. Oh my god, so many Christmas babies in the chat. Wait, If you're a Christmas baby, when did your parents have sex? 9 months prior. Oh man, I wish I could do math right now. Oh my god. Paul Pinga said, I want to see England during Christmas. No, you never. No one ever wants to see England ever. Maybe like Leicester Square has some lights. I've always wanted to go to New York for Christmas and go to the department stores where they have the Santa and the ice skating rink next to that big tree and the building. Yeah. That's always been my dream. Christmas in England, like any time in England, is maybe a little bit bleak in my opinion. But that's mainly because I'm from like a working class family. I'm sure Christmas in any country is great if you have money. I said, I'm Filipino and we already start Christmas in September. Oh my god. Okay guys, we're going to the Philippines. Um that's so fun. I really love Christmas. There's already, I mean it's October now, so like I went shopping today and it was all Halloween stuff, which Halloween isn't. It's funny because Japanese people will constantly tell you that Japan does not celebrate Halloween. A lot of Japanese people have told me this. However, every store you go in through October is just full of Halloween stuff. No one obviously does trick or treating. I think that would be a little bit impossible in Japan, but there's a lot of events, and of course there was like the Shibuya party where everyone would go to Shibuya and get drunk, and now we can't do that anymore. So I don't know. I think the Shibuya party maybe moved to Ikebukuro. I'm not sure. Which reminds me, I need to think about what I'm doing for this Halloween. British Christmas food is peak though. No, that's true. That's true. British cuisine isn't the best, but I really, well, every year I still do it. I make a British Christmas dinner at home, and it's really good. Yeah, British Christmas food is pretty peak. Yeah. Japan loves the decorating of holidays. Yeah, I think it's an excuse to like dress up and be silly. There's no like substance behind it. Like it's so funny because like Christmas is really celebrated here, but it's more like a dating thing. Like you would, it's for couples basically. So if you're not coupled up, kind of sucks. And no one knows like if you I asked Japanese people constantly for years because remember I was a teacher for a long time. No one knows like what Santa does, any of his reindeer's names, why any of this happens. They're just like I like the tree, it's pretty, and I can respect that. Oh my god. Mimi said, I feel like I wouldn't get scammed. No, like this has been one of my concerns because I watch some YouTube videos where people get scammed. I'm like one day I will be like on a dating app or something and some like it will be like those Nigerians that have the Jennifer Aniston profile. Someone will catfish me as Hassan and I will send him Roblox the cards, the gift cards. I would do it. I know I will. Joshi said, I was born very premature and my parents' anniversary is a little over 8 months before my birthday, so I think I know the exact night I was conceived. Disgusting. That's so funny. That's cute. That's cute. Romantic. Life said, that is untrue. I see Japanese families trick-or-treating in Omoto-san though. Minami Aoyama, Nishi Izabu, Hiro. Yeah, that's a very small rich neighborhood. You're living in like like that's a very small, very westernized area that is. It's not where you named all the places where like the very rich people live. That's not how people live. Yes, Christmas is a dating thing. Halloween is for hookups. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true. It's just people going out and drinking. Normally, it's like men going out with men and women going out with women. I don't think it's necessarily for hookups. I'm not even sure if there's any really like club events around Halloween time. My mate said, one of my second year students said, I love Christmas, but I hate couples. Aw. Isa said, not Roblox. Oh my god. I don't mind seeing couples when I'm super lonely. I think it's cute. I'm like, that could be me someday. It was me at one point, but Yeah, you shouldn't feel bad when you see couples. It's nice because one day you're going to be a couple and some creepy little freak could be looking at you and being like, so I think it's good to be a good sport. A second Valentine's. Yeah, basically Christmas is what Valentine's Day should be in Japan. God, I need to worry about that now. Like, it's all about, in Japan, it's all about having a date on Christmas. If you don't have a date, I think probably I will stay home and just cook Christmas dinner as I normally do. As a British person, it feels weird going out on Christmas Day. That's why it's hard. If you're dating a Japanese person, they always want to go out to like a restaurant on Christmas Day, and it just feels very strange, like all the stores being open and just people going about as normal. Also, a lot of people work on Christmas Day here. It is not a public holiday. So luckily for me, this year I'm not working. So yeah. A said, some guy called me a liar for not having a boyfriend today. I love it. That's good though. I mean, that's, I don't know, that's a strange interaction, honestly. It's kind of funny. My said, yeah, sure. I also love believing in the impossible. Don't talk like that, my. You're such a catch. Someone said, Ang said, I know someone who went for Xmas in Germany and she loved it. I think going to Germany in Christmas would be sick, like the Christmas markets and stuff. In England, we do have the German Christmas markets though. That's one thing there is one. There are a few now in Japan. I think there's one in Roppongi and one in Yokohama. They have like a German Christmas market. It's very expensive. I used to go to the Yokohama one every year, and then one year I remember I went and they had like a balding Christmas tree. It was like the boldest Christmas tree I had ever seen, and we had to wait like 2 hours to get in and see this bold Christmas tree, and I was like, I'm never coming back here again. Aki said, working on Christmas sucks so much. I'm never doing it again. I think I've been pretty lucky, and I haven't ever worked on Christmas. But yeah, it's a lot of people I know, and like in the past, like people when I was dating someone, and oftentimes they would be working on Christmas. It just sucks. I think particularly if you're a foreigner, they should let you have it off just because it's like our holiday. Japanese tend to observe very low levels of PDA. Yeah, that's true. Western tourists, however, have no shame and will make out on a crowded train. I mean, I've seen a lot of drunk Japanese people making out, so yeah, but like in general, Japanese people don't like PDA that much. I mean, they probably should a little bit more. It's like your birth rate is declining. Maybe you should touch each other a little bit. Just a little touch. It's fine. Nia said, I just want to say, and I can put my first 200 euros on the side for my year in Japan. Oh my god, good job! I need to save up money. I've been really bad at that recently. I have a lot of things I need to pay for. He said, he also called me Bijin, and I still don't know what it means. Oh, Bijin is like beautiful, beautiful woman. Oh yeah, Liko said beautiful woman or beautiful person. Normally, when people ask me, Nani jin desu ka? Like, what nationality are you? I'm always like, Bijin desu. And no one finds it funny. It's all about the KFC for me. Yeah, people normally order KFC. Like you guys know, you've seen the TikToks. People order KFC like months in advance and get it on Christmas. I haven't done the KFC Christmas yet. Maybe I will do it one day. I haven't had the desire to do it yet. Normally I just cook dinner, but I don't know, for me eating KFC on Christmas, it just feels wrong. And like, particularly because like you have to order it in advance. I don't like reserving anything. So it's probably honestly not going to happen. Bijin this. Ang said, I always love Xmas in Finland. Oh my god, I want to go to Finland. They have like the actual like Christmas town with a real Santa and everything. That would be sick. That's always been one of my dreams. I'd love that. Yeah, there's a real Santa and not real Santa, but there's a Santa and like reindeers and shit. That is cool. That's somewhere I would like to go. One of my favorite countries I've ever been to is Iceland. So I I was thinking about that today. I was like, if I was gonna move from Japan, where would I go? Maybe Iceland. Do they like, I don't know what I would do there, but like, do you need a visa to go to Iceland? Because of Brexit, maybe I would need a visa. Damn, I feel like we didn't need a visa before. Finding a job in Iceland sounds hard. Did you know that Iceland is 100% sustainable geothermal energy? Isn't that incredible? I love Iceland. Okay, so KFC isn't even that good. Whoa, okay. I like KFC. I walked past KFC on the way home today and I did think about getting it. But Japanese KFC, they don't have the gravy. I don't know everyone's countries here, but in the UK, KFC sells gravy and it is delicious. And they don't do it here, so like your chickens will dry. I'm like, what is this comment? How to review is legal. That's why MILFs go to Iceland. Oh my god. Yeah, maybe. I'll be like, Iceland has a lack of MILFs. I need to go and increase the MILF quota of Iceland. Actually, now I think about it, Iceland probably does have a lot of MILFs. I went to like a bar and I was like, hello, barman. I was trying to rizz him up and I was like, why don't you teach me some Icelandic? And he said, why the fuck would you want to learn Icelandic? Like 10 people speak it. And I'm like, okay, never mind. Me trying to rizz up the barman when I was definitely like 15. He was like, no. My said, bro, I'm the farthest thing from a MILF. My, don't say that. You can be anything you want. If you want to be a MILF, you can be a MILF. I'm in my MILF era now, actually. If anyone's interested. What I learned about being in my MILF era is that almost exclusively 22-year-old men are attracted to me, so it's rough. It's rough out here. I thought when I became 30 that I would only attract ojisans, but it turns out, yeah, men do love MILFs, because Jesus Christ. I get hit on by fucking high schoolers. Disgusting. Sangri said, to live there now, you need a visa as a Brit. That is hilarious that we did that to ourselves. We used to be able to live in any country in the EU, I think. Or like there was like most countries you could, but because we decided we didn't want to do that anymore, we just don't. So that sucks. My mom was very pro Brexit and she moved to Spain. I'm like, these people are literally the worst. I like KFC, but some of it is too salty. Give me all the sodium and salt. I love it. And Joshua. Yes, Joshua can be a MILF too. It is possible. I was gonna say a secret about Joe. I almost said it. I didn't. I really exposed you. I was like, Joshua has a... No, I can't say it. The biscuits are so dry. Biscuits aren't our thing in England. Like, not those biscuits. Like, I've never... I think I've only had one, like, once. Like, the biscuits in KFC is, like, pastry. I don't really get it. In England, it's not really a thing. I don't really understand it as, like, as a concept. Hannah said, I'm from Florida, and in my opinion, Japan's KFC's main issue is the biscuits. Okay, again on the biscuits. If you tried a biscuit in the USA, you would know what I mean. Now I regret not trying a biscuit when I was in the US. Did I have a biscuit? I went to that place, Annie's, and we had what we call in England sausage rolls. Like a sausage and pastry, and I dipped it in spicy cheese sauce. It was delicious. It's similar to a plain scone. Isn't it like kind of salty? Joshi said, my dad literally had a job in the Netherlands and voted for Brexit. Oh my god, I'm telling you, these are the kind of people that voted for Brexit. My mom was like, she didn't vote for Brexit because I think she couldn't figure out how to, but she was living in Spain and she was like pro Brexit. I'm like, you don't, like, they're gonna take your visa, you're gonna have to move back. Like, what are you thinking? Also, like, you are an immigrant yourself, so, and it's not like she was retired, so it's not even like you're bringing that much money into the country because you only buy like cigarettes and wine, so it's not really, you're not really stimulating the economy, to be honest. Aunt Annie's. Yeah, the pretzel place. That place was good. I wonder if there's an Aunt Annie's in Japan. I had my first blue raspberry soda, and I think it was in my vlog where I go to the US. That was insane. That sent me to like another planet. They do that at TGI Fridays. If you guys are in Japan and you miss blue raspberry, they do it at TGI Fridays if you're interested. It always, without fail, gives me a stomach ache, but it is so worth it. Oki said seed oil is a problem. I don't know. Live said, I used to be a fan of KFC for easy protein after the gym, but now I'm worried about seed oil consumption. Normally I just have, like, when I'm cooking at home, I use olive oil for everything, but yeah, it do be kind of oily. I'll give it that. I try to not eat too much fried food anymore. But yeah, what other news do I have? I'm gonna post a video going to Pume, and then the next video I want to make is about like some dates that I went on recently. All bad, all of them. So like look forward to that. And then our next live stream, we're gonna stream Cult of the Lambs. That would be fun. I thought about playing the new Metal Gear Solid, and also Hades 2 is out, but I'm paying fucking 8,000 yen. I think that Alisa mentioned it to me, but the price of groceries is going up again in Tokyo, or it has gone up as of yesterday, I think. So yeah, it's just a bad time. We won't be spending money on leisure for a while. Like I said, I went to TGIF recently with friends. The Japan stores have changed the menu so much. They don't have potato skins? That's so sad. I always get the Fridays mushrooms and the quesadillas and the blue raspberry soda. That's gotta be like 4,000 calories right there. It's delicious. I've been really craving getting the ribs. But yeah, so basically, the economy is fucked. If you guys are not living in Japan, good. I'm good. You guys, you don't understand. You don't understand. I was speaking to someone about it, and they're like, "Oh, the economy is messed up everywhere." It's like, no, Japan's really bad. Like, I don't know what's happening. Darby said it's gone up everywhere. Yeah, it's like nationwide. I went on October 1st. Hi, Andre. I don't speak Portuguese. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the groceries have been going up a lot. Like, but good news, that one of the hopeful prime ministers, the prime minister hopeful is Koizumi, and Koizumi is like the young, good-looking guy. And his proposal of what he wants to do is a wage hike. And it's like, yes, that is good. That's what we need. So hopefully he gets in, mostly because Ishiba-san is just, I'm sorry, but he's so, like, I don't want to like ugly shame, but Jesus Christ, that video that I always talk about, the one of him eating the onigiri, disgusting. I'm sick of seeing him. Koizumi, at least, like, I don't care if you're attractive, but like, what's with all politicians being in like their 80s? Like, please. Koizumi at least said that he wants to raise the wages, so that would be good. Because as we keep mentioning, Japan has not had an increase in wages in 35 years, and it's really starting to show. Like, the economy is bad, and like I've been here for 10 years, so I've seen this happening in like real time, and it is quite scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I used to be able to shop way more when I first moved to Japan, and I was earning way less money. Like, in terms of like jfashion and fashion, everything is almost impossible. Like, it's so expensive. Like, everything's gone up like 3-4 times. Groceries is expensive. I think even when I first arrived in Japan, vending machines, a lot of them had 100 yen drinks, like, everywhere. Now, vending machines, like, all the drinks are like 160 or 180 yen, and just like groceries are skyrocketing. I said, yeah, Japan's still dirt cheap compared to New Zealand. Yeah, that's the thing. Is the issue we're having is that Japan is like, oh my god, there's so many annoying tourists. They're coming here and they're just like shopping and going to Disneyland and having fun. It's like, yeah, because their money goes so far here. They can come and do whatever the fuck they want. Like, if you strengthen the economy, less people would come here and do that. But like, also we need them to do that because we need money for the economy, because people here are being paid in yen, don't really have that much money to spend on these things anymore. So like, it's bad, man. It's bad times. For real, Takaichi is a nut job. There's a lot of psychos in, but like in any political spectrum, there's going to be psychos. But there's a lot of psychos right now in the Japanese politicians. And like, as you guys have, you know, like you guys know, like there's San Seito, and they're like really, really like racist, and not just that, but they're like, they base their whole party on the Republican Party, so they really focus on like misinformation and conspiracy theories. So they're gaining popularity, so that's not good. Ace said, it's okay guys, I'll keep the Eva store alive. Ace, you need to go to the Eva store in, you must have been there, the one in Ikebukuro in Parco. I like that one. That was my favorite. If it's still there, I feel like it should be. By the way, Jane Goodall passed away the other day. I saw that. That made me really sad. Like, now my job is the news. It's stressful, like, seeing so many, like, obituaries and things, like, pop up constantly, and, like, seeing my favorite celebrities die. Even last year, the vending machines were cheaper. Yeah, the groceries have gone up a few times since last year, I feel like. It has real, like, effects. Hannah said, the USA is fucked right now, but literally the reason I had to leave Japan and regroup is the salary was so low. That's the worst part, is that I know lots of people, because obviously for like me, right? I'm a low skilled worker, but there are people overseas and I'm like, yeah, I have a PhD and I'm like a doctor, like an engineer, or like high level. They have expertise that Japan wants and needs, but they're like, I would love to live in Japan, but I'm not going to, because I like a lot of these high level, high skill jobs in Japan, they get paid like half as much, even like a third as much. So obviously they're not gonna come. They're not gonna come here. So like, Japan's missing out on a lot of talent. And yeah, in general, it's just the more people are being squeezed into poverty, the less people are going to want to have kids. I mean, this is the biggest problem. Like, Japan feels like its biggest problem is its declining birth rate, but it does it to itself, because it's like, you just need to strengthen the economy. Like, everything is economics. Like, literally, if you strengthen the economy, all other aspects would fall into place. And this is why people are like, oh, why is Japan suddenly so racist? And again, it's because of the economy. It's just easier to blame the shit on like foreigners. Sandy said, the strength of the dollar and weakness of the yen is nuts, but the strong dollar means little when their rents have gone insane. Coming to Japan is like a super cheap escape for them now. Yeah, that's also true. Overseas, like in America, a lot of my American friends, they're living, like, they have full-time jobs and they're living like 5 people in an apartment in like different rooms. Isn't that insane? Rent is better here. Like, I am one person on one salary and I live in a house all by myself. I definitely wouldn't be able to do that in like a major city. And like, remember, I live in a major city, so like, I wouldn't be able to do that in like, I don't know, Chicago, whatever the equivalent is. Olgi said, I just did the math. The minimum wage here is actually half what it is there. The minimum wage here is really bad. Like, the thing is, what I'm worried about is like, Koizumi is proposing a wage hike. It would have to be pretty large. Like, if the wage hike is like 100 yen, no, it needs to be like 500 yen at least. It's very bad. Like, to have an actual effect on the economy, they really do need to stimulate the economy. Like, I honestly don't know what's happening. And maybe like, in, you know, like the trickle down system, we need the opposite of that. So basically, every capitalist country is like, oh, we'll give all the money to the richest people and then it will trickle down. No, because those people store all their money in offshore accounts. What you need to do is give money to the lowest earners, the people in poverty, the people who are living paycheck to paycheck, because those are the people that are actually stimulating the economy. They're the ones that are actually buying groceries and having to pay for like just basic necessities, and these are the things that actually do stimulate the economy. So that's what we need to do, and that's why they need to start with minimum wage. But like in general, I think that people, the average salary in Japan is like 3 million yen a year, and that's really low. That's really, really low. And remember, I've been in Japan for 10 years. It's been the same the whole time. However, since I've been here, consumption tax has risen like 2 or 3 times, and like grocery prices keep rising. So how are people supposed to live? Japan Animation said, I got a wage rise of 30 yen. So maybe it's still ice soup, but maybe ice can be flavored water now. That's so funny. Oh my god. Darby said the pay here is such dog shit because the companies refuse to raise wages. Companies hold on to the cash instead. Part of the reason I did not move back to the US is because a good paying job, 100K plus a year, was barely enough to get by. Yeah, and it's like in the US, it's like you earn more money, but it's still like groceries are expensive and rent is expensive. I feel like rent is the bigger thing. The thing is like in Japan, companies are all black, like pretty much. Like the company I'm working for now as well is like, and living in Japan, the jobs I've had, they always try to put you on like these part-time or like freelancer contracts, and then they don't have to pay for things like healthcare or pension, and then they don't have to give you a raise in wages. Like they're coming up with all of these legal loopholes to stop paying people money, and it's disgusting. Like the last job, I talked about it a lot, but I used to work in Eikaiwa, and I signed a contract, and they gave me a verbal agreement that even though I am technically working part-time, they would pay for my pension and my health insurance. They don't pay for it. They pay like half and you pay half, and it comes out of your paycheck. Then after I started working, they were like, oh, actually we can't do that because we realized that you're not like exactly the amount of hours that's like necessary for us to be required to. And I was so mad because it's like, it doesn't, like, you could still just do it. Like why, like as a company, you really, like, once you start a company and you start hiring people, you have a responsibility. And like when you start being like, oh, how can I make more money, how can I get more money from my employees, okay, let's get rid of their health insurance. It's like, that's some evil shit. Like my fucking health insurance, Jesus Christ. Trickle up economics feels so obvious. Yeah, so people vilify it for their own interest. For real, like, even if like I wasn't positively affected at all, anyone who earns less money than me gets more money, great. That would be excellent. Love your story times money. Thank you. I think rather than importing a lot of foreigners to specifically fill roles that young Japanese don't want to do, they should artificially inflate the pay for those who roles to make them attractive. I'm talking farming and convenience store work. Well, I think that like they should increase the wages for those jobs, but at the same time, it's not just wages. Japanese people just don't want to work in convenience or do farm work, like in general. So I think it's going to be hard. They do need, with the birth rate now, they do have to kind of get foreigners to do those kind of things, unfortunately. I think that like there should be immigration in like any country. Like I don't see like why anyone would be against, because Japan doesn't really have that much immigration anyway, so I don't think it's really a problem for Japan right now. And as an immigrant, or if you're a foreigner, I don't think that you should be like, oh, there should be more foreigners in Japan. It's like, okay. As I said, childcare and care for the elderly need higher wages. Oh my god, for sure, for sure. Any like essential roles, like teachers especially, because teachers in Japan, the job with the longest hours, it turns out was like a Japanese junior high school teacher. Japanese junior high school teachers often work 7 days a week, 6 or 7 days a week, and often they don't leave the office until 10 p.m. And they only get paid to be there for like what, 9 hours, and normally it's also like a flat rate, and a lot of them just get overworked and burnt out, and they're not going to make enough. Nurses, definitely. Japan needs more care staff in general because everyone's old, and a lot of the care staff are foreigners because no one really wants to do that job. Like, let's be for real, and they don't pay enough. So again, life is right in the sense that like they need to pay more for these roles, and more Japanese people would do it. But at the same time, those jobs just really aren't attractive for young Japanese people. Japanese people all just want to sit in an office all day, like, mostly. Bye, Nia! Oyashimi. Sangi said, it's the same with factory work in the US. People want to come back, but vast majority do not even want to do it. No, that's the thing. It's like, be for real. Like, I wouldn't really want to work in a factory all day. I've done a lot of physical labor in my life, and it destroys my body. I would go as far to say that I think those kind of high physical labor jobs you should only do for like a max of 5 years, because you can really mess up your body. My dad really messed up his knee. He worked for the Royal Mount. He was in like he had a job where he had to like cut the top off of like sacks of parcels and dump them into like a machine, and it really messed up his body because he did it for like 20 years. Yeah, high school teachers across the world work crazy hours. They really do. Ace said teachers in Japan are going through it, man. Yeah, it's really bad, and that's why a lot of them like end up bullying the kids because like they're stressed. And like a lot of teachers in Japan, particularly junior high school teachers and high school teachers, they have to teach. They're a homeroom teacher. They have to sort out the kids' lunches, and they also have to be the head of like a club, like a basketball club or home economics, and they don't get to choose which club they are assigned. They get assigned, so then they have to study, like, oh, I don't know anything about basketball, so I have to study about that. So they have to study a lot of shit. It is insane. I was assigned the home economics club, and then I was like had to wash like after, so the kids leave at like 5 o'clock even, and then I had to stay behind and like wash all the frying pans. It was a nightmare, and that was just me being a teacher. Do you know natto? Yes, I do. I know natto. Aiza said they definitely judge foreigners with lots of kids more than Japanese folks with the same amount. Yeah, that's true. My said I've seen some of the stuff they gotta put up with too. Some JHS are quite rough. Yeah, I worked in a couple of junior high schools that were really rough. With like constant like fighting. I worked in an elementary school that was really bad, like, and it was a private one, and we had like the police called. There was bullying to the point where they almost, like, the kids almost killed another kid. One day the kids were fighting in the boys' toilet, and they smashed the toilet, and the whole corridor was flooded with like shitty water because they broke the toilet. And they were also playing poker for money, because these are also rich kids. They were playing poker for money, and they got caught. There was like some not good stuff with like creepy kids creeping on the little girls. There was a lot of like wild shit that happened. So like I was thinking about this yesterday actually to Yumichi, but that school, there was a kid, and he drew a manga of me getting decapitated. Like, he drew a manga of me getting decapitated, and I showed it to the homeroom teacher, and I was like, this is terrifying. Like, this kid must be really messed up. Like, maybe you should look into his home life. And the homeroom teacher was just like, Haruto sure likes horror. And I'm like, this isn't normal or funny. So like a lot of shit goes under the radar, I think, just because they're so overworked and tired. No, said, thank you for the membership, whoever gifted me that. Yes, that was my. If you have the membership, you can do these silly emotes like this. Yeah. Life said, holy shit. Yeah, it was really messed up. Maybe I'll make another video about this school. This school was particularly messed up. A lot of stuff happened. I don't want to get into it too much, but like there was an issue with the older boys. I remember the older boys, even at like 12, stole the girl when they went swimming. They stole one of the girls' swimsuits and they were like licking it, like the panty part, and they got caught on the fucking CCTV doing this. And the boy who was doing it put the swimsuit in another boy's bag to frame him for doing it, like the kid that was being bullied. And it ended up being a whole thing. My! Oh my god! Ma, yeah, Alisa got it. Kai got it. My, you're being very sweet today. Ooh, the suspense. Yes, sir. My. Yeah, that was really messed up. A lot of really messed up stuff happened in that school. One kid was getting so severely bullied, and I kept telling the teachers. They never did anything about it. Oh, something else really messed up happened. I taught there for like 6 years. My mic is the guy. I took there for like 6 years, so I saw the kids go from like being really small to getting really bigger. And there's this one girl, and she was mute. So she would just sit in the class and just stare at the desk the whole time. I thought maybe that she was autistic. She didn't participate in any classes, but she had her bag. She would get out her stuff. She would sometimes draw a little bit or like write a little bit, but then give up. And anyway, so she was mute. And I assumed that this was being taken care of. And this is a very like high stress school where the kids had to, like, it was a very expensive private school, like super expensive, like 3 million yen per semester. It was insane. So it was stressful. And after like I think on the 5th year, I had known this kid for 5 years. I was like, okay, like I asked the teacher, like, so how is it going? Like, it doesn't seem like she's improved at all. Like, how is like the doctors dealing with it? And they're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, clearly she's mute. She doesn't talk. And they're like, that's just her personality. She's just shy. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Not only is she mute, but sometimes she doesn't process stimulus. Like, she won't be aware of stuff that's happening. And like she doesn't really play with the other kids. And they're like, oh no, she's just shy. And then I realized that this whole time that kid was just forced to go to school, sit at her desk and not speak for like hours, and then go home and do nothing, like a prisoner, like in her own body. Can you imagine? And it's like everyone just ignored it, and I guess they thought that maybe she would get better, but she just didn't. And it happens to a lot of kids. Aki said, am I too asexual to understand that? Maybe. What the hell is this story? Yeah, these stories are pretty dark. I'm sorry, guys. Japan is low-key messed up. I mean, most countries have their dark underbellies, honestly. Like I said, way back I did JET for a year. I taught at a very prestigious school and a terrible school that was going to completely shut down within a few years. Ironically, both schools had terrible incidents. Yeah, if you have been a teacher in the schools in Japan, you do tend to see some really messed up stuff. I worked in a couple of really good schools and they were nice. Ironically, the schools that were the best always had female head teachers. Principals, that's how you say it. Darby! Arigato! We got 2 out of 10. We are not making it. We've got currently 46 watches though. Good job. I think this is our most we've ever had. This is great. Oki said 3 million. Isa said mute or non-verbal. I don't know. Like, honestly, non-verbal. And sometimes she could acknowledge you, sometimes she wouldn't. I just assumed that she was autistic. I suspect that she did talk when she was at home. And people said to me that she talked when she was at home, but not when she was at school. Darby! Neon said, can you tell a happy story? Yes, I will. Okay, I'll tell you a happy story. Sorry, it got really dark there for a minute there. Okay, so when I worked in the schools, the first school I ever worked at, I used to work at a school, and then on Fridays, I would have to walk up the road from the school and teach a couple of classes at the hospital. The hospital had its own classroom for kids that were too sick to go to school. So I would go there every week for like a year. when I was there, my Japanese wasn't the best, and I was the only teacher. And this is my first year in Japan, and it was just like the nurses who were really, really nice, a little bit older Japanese women. And like the kids didn't look too sick, but I don't know what was wrong with them, and I couldn't ask them because I was the only like English speaker there. This didn't have any, there was no translation, and you know you don't want to really ask, so we're there. But then suddenly kids would just disappear, like I wouldn't see them anymore in my class. So over the course of the year, I think I taught probably 20 kids, and about 12 of those just disappeared, and I was like, damn, that's really sad. Like maybe they just passed away. I was really, really sad about it because I was like, I can ask the nurse about it. I can speak Japanese. So then the end of the year, I had to leave. The contract was up. And I decided that I was going to move to Shinjuku. So it was my last day. We had a party, and that day I walked in and all 20 of the students I had were there. I was like, oh my god, guys, I thought you died. I thought you died. They didn't die. They just got better or went somewhere else. So like they were all fine and safe, and it was really, really nice. And I taught this other little girl who used to go to another school I worked at. She was also nonverbal. She wouldn't speak, and she'd just like stare. And I would say good morning to her every morning, and like I would talk to her at school, just like talking, even though she wasn't responding, right? And then one day she's always at the bus stop with her dad. After a few months, I went to the bus stop and I said good morning, and she said good morning, and then her dad said she's never spoken before. He's like, she's never spoken. Like and this girl is like, she's like 15, like a 15-year-old girl. He's like, she's never spoken before. Like one of the first words he heard her say was just good morning in English. I think it's just because like I just kept saying it to her. So she's, as I said, where they getting better. Yeah, see, I told you I have happy stories. Normally it's just like sad. Peak chat, yay. Oh my god, you impacted her life. Nah, like I did really enjoy being a teacher, and I really don't like it when people, you know, like if you are an English teacher in Japan, there is a stigma where people think like it's really like lame and like skillless, you don't do anything. There are jobs where it's like that, but so many times when I was a teacher in Japan, I've done things which really did impact people, and like I had to make lesson plans and I had to teach kids stuff, and like a lot of like there were times when I would leave a school, and then like 4 or 5 years later someone would run up to me and they're like, Sensei, do you remember me? I'm an idol now, I'm married now. And it's like, wow, you guys really remember me after all this time. Like they still really remember you. Like you are really having an impact on those children's lives, and I think that's really important. And like particularly if you're like me and you're like a neurodivergent kid, when you were in high school, you probably latched onto your English teacher. When I was in high school and college, I really did latch onto my English teachers, and they were very good comfort for me, and I heard this a lot. So I tried to be that comfort when I was a teacher, and I think for a few kids I really was that comfort, because a lot of times like a lot of these kids, they go home and they have a bad home life, and then they come to school and they get bullied. So that's why it would annoy me, like a lot of the teachers I worked with were just like mean to the kids, and it's like, okay, but like a lot of them, the kid that you're being mean to, they're gonna go home and have a bad time. They're gonna come to school and have a bad time. Like at least give them a space for them to like a little sanctuary, like a nice little place where they're like, oh, I'm here, I'm safe, I don't have to worry. My teacher's not gonna degrade me or make me feel bad or like body shame me. Did you go to an alternative school in the UK? No, I went to like a regular school. My school that I went to, my high school, was like the worst rated in Ofsted for like just bad schools, and then it got much better while I was there. But my school was so bad, there was a police box, like a koban in the school, and there were regular fights, there was drugs, people bringing knives to school. I think I mentioned this before that like I participated in this, but the policeman who worked at the school, we locked him in the art cupboard and he was in there for like more than 24 hours and then he quit. It was a very rough school that I went to. There was a lot of fighting. I got beaten up like so many times. Like it was just normal. That being said, I would still much rather go there than go to high school in Japan. Georgia said, I'm so glad you were able to help them. But like the thing is like these kids are in every school, but there is not an English teacher or like a kind-hearted teacher that will listen to them in every school. So that's why I think it's important, and I think that it's good that foreigners, like AOTs, it is a bit of a bullshit job sometimes, but at the same time, like it is really good for the kids. And also being an AOT, a lot of it is like just exposing them to foreigners and something outside of the realm of the things that they're used to. Darby said, Bloody hell, man, you're so nice. Love that you made a difference. I mean, it is normal. A lot of the time as well, if you are working in a school, that if a kid is like, goes to one of their homeroom teachers or something, they're like, Sensei, I'm gay. I'm being bullied. I'm this. They're often like, fuck, I don't know how to deal with this. Foreigners are supposed to be like more in their minds emotional and able to talk about that stuff, so they'll take that kid and they'll just give them to the foreigner and they'll be like, talk to this kid. So many times I would be in like the counselor's office talking to kids that are like, yeah, I'm being bullied, or maybe I like boys too, and stuff like that, and I would just talk with them about it, and the counselor would make me do that. And it was good for them. Like, Japanese schools do have school counselors, which is good, and the school counselors are normally pretty nice people, so that's a good thing. Like, Japanese school isn't all bad. There are a lot of good aspects. Also, the coldness of Japanese society can really beat them down. Yeah, someone from somewhere else can be a relief from the norms. Yeah, I think as well, speaking about things in your non-native language it's less embarrassing and it's just easier, like sometimes for them. And Japanese people aren't so good at communicating about feelings sometimes, so yeah, I think it's just sometimes easier. Mine said, "Comes being a teacher, the company's the wages, the bad stuff. The good things, pretty much the students and the nice stuff." Yeah, I've worked with a lot of wonderful people and I've worked with a lot of bad people too. I think it's like anywhere you work, honestly. A said, I was so relieved when I met my host family and brother and saw how kind and close they are. I was really worried about how we'd all get along, but we watched Chikawa before. Oh my god, that's so cute. That's really good. Yeah, I think like anything, anywhere is just like a lottery. Anywhere you go, any country, and there's gonna be good people, there's gonna be bad people. Imagine if there was a skin series, but for Japanese high school life. I feel like there must be, right? I just said, even if there's kind teachers in schools, they're so overworked and tired. Yeah, you were the gay straight alliance. That's so funny. But yeah, like when I was in high school, I was getting bullied really, really badly, and I had quite a rough home life too. So I had, I could go to the English teacher's classroom and just like hang out with them, and they were always really nice and understanding. And I wouldn't talk about my problems to them, but just talking to someone and them listening to you about anything is so important. And this is another thing I argued with because I used to have a coworker for 6 years, and she was awful, and she was really rude to the kids as well. And I tried to explain to her so many times that like, if a kid asks you a question, she'd always be like, that's a stupid question. And it's like, a lot of kids, you need to understand that this kid's been on earth for like 6 years. Like, they're hearing shit for the first time. Like, I did a lesson about Halloween, and like, a lot of the kids thought that like bats were Halloween monsters and they didn't exist. And I showed them pictures of different kinds of bats, like photographs, and they were like, it's real. Like, they didn't believe me. A lot of shit I showed them, like snakes swimming and stuff. I would show them so much shit on my iPad. This like of just like stuff that they'd never seen before, and it just blew their minds, and it was so funny. And it's like, okay, it might be a stupid question for you, but this kid's been on Earth for like 5 minutes. Like, give him a break. You made a difference for us in the chat too. Oh, guys, one more group of special kids. Yeah, we're all a little bit special here. It's fine. It's nice to just like talk with someone and have them listen to you. Like, that's really, really important. And I think that Japan sometimes is lacking a little bit of that, particularly in school. People don't really listen, and that's what I'm trying to say to the teacher as well. She really bugged me where a lot of kids, like we had this one kid, I think his name was like Yoshitaka, and he said, I really don't like my name. I would, no, wait, no, it's the opposite. He's like, I like my name Yoshitaka, and the woman I work with, she was like, I'm gonna call you Yoshi. And he's like, I really don't like Yoshi. I would prefer if you just call me Yoshitaka, my real name. And she's like, no, I'm gonna just call you Yoshi because Yoshitaka is too long. And I'm like, children don't own stuff. Like, they have like their personal belongings, right? But like for a kid, they don't have a lot of things. Things that are important to them is their name and their age. These things are very important and proud for them. So like he just like try to have respect for these things for kids because it is very important for them. That's why kids don't like it if they're like 6 but you say they're 5. That'll really piss them off because their age is really important. And if they tell you the name they want to be used, then just use it. It's just like this isn't very important for them. And like kids, like the stakes of their lives are so different. Like this is very important to them. Like, and I think that adults sometimes forget that. Augie said snakes can swim. Oh my god, you're like one of my little students. Have you ever seen a bat? Oh, to be honest, this is making teaching sound so fun. Teaching was hella fun. Oh my god. Because in the school I worked at, all the kids had iPads. So and I'd had like a big interactive board. So I would make those quizzes. I forget, there's like a website where you can make quizzes and everyone takes it at the same time. They would lose their friggin' minds. And then I would teach they don't really know that much about other countries. So like every week we would pick a country like Italy, and we would just like with their iPads, they would all research stuff and we would write it on the board and we'd slowly learn together. It was really, really fun. And kids still have like a curiosity to learn, which I think we kind of lose as we get older. So it was nice just like being around. I had a lot of nice conversations. Like a lot of kids observe things that like adults don't. And like all my coworkers are overworked, tired people who work 12 hours a day. So like they're not the best conversationalists. So it was nice to speak to kids who are just like still have a little bit of zest for life left. X said, dude, yes, personal sovereignty for children. It's very important. I think they need to learn about it more in Japan. Because I know like in the West, we're very like individualistic. So it's all about the individual. And that's people are aware that that's important. But of course, this is Japan and it's more about the collective. I think that is also very, very important. But I think they should think a little bit more that like, oh well, maybe this kid isn't like the other kids, like because it does really mess up when there are neurodivergent kids that are autistic but they're being forced to do and act the same way as other people. I can imagine that's very, very stressful. X said, I just moved here. I've been determined to make a living as a creative and not teach. But babies, I love them. That's really, really good. I was teaching for quite a few years and doing my creative stuff on the side. If you can live on just doing creative stuff, then yeah, that's great. If you're a foreigner living in Japan, you can do teaching literally anytime. And you can even do it like once a week if you want. There's a lot of avenues. That's another thing that people don't really understand is that if you like teaching isn't just like one thing. You can teach babies, kindergartners, you can work in a private school, an international school where everyone speaks English, you can teach university students, you can teach salarymen. I've done every friggin' facet. I've worked in companies. I used to work for like a TV show. I think it was TBS. We did like a kids TV show and I taught like that. That was pretty insane. She really went out of her way to meet me. Yep. My Oyasumi! Thank you so much. You were the guy today. Bedtime for me, chat. I feel Oyasumi. Yeah, it's gonna get pretty late. We'll probably cut this off in a little bit. Don't forget we're gonna be streaming Cult of the Lamb soon, so make sure you're here for that. Darby said they really need to pay attention to kids individually here. Like a lot of times, there'll be a kid in the class and they'll be like, that kid has ADHD or this kid has that. And then the teacher's like, oh, I never noticed that. And it's like, really? You spend every day with them. You didn't realize? Another thing that I noticed a lot is obviously this is the same all over the world, right? The ADHD is more recognized in boys because boys tend to get a little bit more like aggressive and hyper, so it's easy to tell. Whereas women, I think women are more prone, but not entirely, to inattentive. I think it's called. I think that's what I have, where you're a bit more like dreamy and out of it. And I saw so many little girls in schools that have the same kind of ADHD what I did, and they never will get diagnosed in their life because it doesn't work that way here. But there were boys who were diagnosed with ADHD, but that's because they were like aggressive and fighting. But if you're not that very typical masculine kind of ADHD, you'll never get diagnosed. And it's really sad because a lot of the little girls were like really smart, but they would like not do their homework or they zone out a lot, and like that's what I had. So it was like seeing my own childhood in front of me, and I would try to tell the other teachers, but they don't really understand what these things are. And like again, the teachers are trying their best, but David said, have you ever hooked up with a student? Are you fucking insane? Like that's disgusting. Like it doesn't matter if, like, obviously, first of all, I've taught mostly children. However, I have taught adults. There's a power dynamic. So like, why would I do that? Like, you should not be doing that. Katarina said, I've always wanted to teach in Japan. I also have a master's degree in teaching English, but I'm a non-native. A lot more non-natives are teaching in Japan. I worked with a lot of non-native speak. It really depends on the company. Like there's a website called Gaijinpot. If you go on there, that's what all the teaching jobs are. You might be able to find something. Isa said, yeah, that's fucking gross. No, I agree. Like maybe you should think on that. That's definitely a guy. That's another thing that really fucking disgusts me is like when you say you're a teacher, and this happens in Japan a lot of Japanese guys will be like, oh, sexy, I wish that my it's like, grow up. Literally grow up. Like it's a job. There's nothing sexy about being at work. Oki said, yeah, to the ADHD thing. Yeah, it's a lot more people have ADHD than we know, but a lot of them just never get diagnosed. That's a question to pay to ask. I can't believe this guy has not donated one time but is saying this kind of stuff. Culture exchange. Westerners can learn to be communal and KY. Japanese children can get validated as beautiful, special snowflakes. Yeah, I think, like, as I mentioned before, like, as a Westerner, I learned so much about, like, the collective and how we should appreciate each other's space and not be loud and not annoying, which is hard for me because I'm loud and annoying. But there is a lot for us to learn about Japan, but at the same time, Japan can learn a lot from the West about like empathy and treating each other in general. Like as I mentioned before when we were talking about Pume, like in Japan it is kind of normal to be like, oh, you gained weight, you have a tall nose, like this kind of stuff. I think in general that's just not good, because I spoke to a lot of Japanese people about this, and I'm like, when people comment on really specific things about your body, do you like that? And they're like, no, it makes me feel really bad. It's like, yeah, let's collectively just not do that. So sorry you have to deal with that. Sounds like some have a teacher's kink if they think it's sexy. It's not even that. It's just like a lot of men are just on monkey brain to anything. They see like literally anything and they try to sexualize it, which is wild. Daycares take non-native speakers for those interested. Yeah, if you want to work, there's a lot of daycares hire non-native speakers. But I feel like a lot more jobs these days. When I worked, even in the Eikaiwa, I had a lot of coworkers that were not native speakers. And honestly, like it doesn't really matter. Like a lot of people, particularly that come to Eikaiwa, they're still learning like really basic sentences. So it doesn't really matter. X said, my new young Japanese feminist professor is a certified Marxist. I'm so jealous of you. I love it. I've had a couple of students like that, like really hardcore feminists, and it was honestly wonderful. You do meet, like through teaching, you do meet a lot of really cool people. If you're working at Eikaiwa, which I would not suggest, you do meet a lot of really boring people though. I think that's kind of like what killed teaching for me is I did work in the Eikaiwa and the people there were quite boring and mostly old. Yes, thank you, MP30, liking your blue hair, thank you. I dyed it myself and I kind of messed up. It wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it's fine, like whatever. Yeah, teach if you are gonna teach in Japan, if you can, I really recommend being an ALT in like a proper school, like an elementary school or middle school. My favorite was elementary school. Elementary school I had to do a little bit more stuff, but it was just more fun. Like the lessons were more fun. We would play games. I feel like the days were shorter too. The kids were more happy. So yeah, it's pretty good. Middle school was good because like you literally don't really have to do anything at all. Middle school is like basically you're like a CD player and you just repeat stuff, which is great because you don't really have to do anything at all. Like so like your job is piss easy, but at the same time it's mind-numbingly boring. Like I thought it would be good to have a boring job, but it was very boring. Actually, I started to go a little bit insane when I was an ALT in the middle school because I was basically every class in one school. I would just stand there for the whole 50 minutes and then they would ask me to repeat something for like 2 minutes and that was it. And I did start to go insane. David said, I watch too many animes. Okay, David, babes, life lesson here for you. Women, like, you need to take yourself out of that. Women are not like anime waifu sex toys. You really need to learn how to speak to women because you can't be going around saying stuff like that to people. It's fine, you didn't want to hear. I'm very understanding. I get it. But for future reference, like, it just, like, people are so, like, anime and Twitter brains. They're always online and they're in these circles where everyone's, like, hyper-sexualizing anime and like saying like posting like these really like hentai memes or whatever all the time. They go on Reddit and they go on like those lewd places, they go on OnlyFans, that they really do think that this is society and it's really not. Like this behavior is unacceptable. It's okay to do it in those spaces, but then the problem with that is those people who normally get very used to being on OnlyFans, these guys then go to places like Instagram and like other social medias, or like they'll go into streams and they'll start speaking to women like that. And it's like, this is not like, this is, I'm a normal person, this is just a normal stream. I'm not a sex worker, we don't do that here, and if I was, this would cost money. So just a little life lesson for you. I think it's really important because I'm saying this with love. If you can speak to women in a more respectful way, you will have a much better outcome. Like women will want to speak to you more. But if a man starts talking like that, I do not want it. Like that's it. I don't really want to speak to them. Christina said, non-native speakers and language learners are the best teachers because they have their own experience they can apply. My mom is a non-native speaker and an ESL teacher. Yeah, no, I think it's really, really true. Also, like, a lot of things that people don't really understand is like hearing your language by a non-native speaker is kind of like a skill, and it's very, very hard. Like when I first came to Japan, Japanese people would speak to me in English, and I often wouldn't know what they were talking about. But after like a few years as a teacher, I knew like the common things. So people would just speak to me in like almost unintelligible English, and I knew exactly what they were trying to say. So that's also a skill in itself. Well said, Ban. Yeah, I think it's really, because this is something about society that is kind of worrying me a little bit. Is like everything's so over sexualized, particularly on the internet, and that isn't society, and it's kind of warping people's brains into how we speak to each other. And again, like the guy said, it was because of anime. Anime really does this, and I think that a lot of animes are not good for people's brains, particularly like men's brains. And it's like every anime nowadays is like, I'm a loser guy and I just spend all day gooning, and then I got isekai to a world where 5 beautiful elven women all want to carry my baby. And it's like, this is not something that is gonna happen to you. Like, this is just a fantasy. And the women in those animes do not act like real women in the real world. So if you're focusing all of your social skills around and like replicating things that you've seen in anime, this isn't a real situation to happen. This is not how people behave, and this is not what is going to happen to you. So yeah, just be mindful of that, I think, because it's just like, I don't know, like disrespectful. Yeah. Again, like watching too much anime, I think just rots anyone's brain. And I like anime, but like, come on now. I love Panty and Stocking, but if I went around speaking to men the way Panty and Stocking speak to men, it would cause a scandal. As I said, I agree with that. Growing up with an ESL mother, I learned how to help people with English. Yeah, it's really, really important, I think. As said, have you heard of Chilla Arts? They are a game developer from Japan, and they make horror games. Oh, I'll check them out. I love psychological thrillers. Excellent. Maybe I'll play the new Silent Hill, but I don't know if that's a little bit too horror for me, because I do live in an old Japanese house and I am like alone in the dark. So maybe nothing like too scary. Augie said, I remember like 3 good teachers I appreciate. The English teacher that always kept stuff lighthearted, the religion teacher who spoke about feelings openly, and the philosophy teacher who talked to us like equals. Yeah, that's such an important thing. I didn't even think of that, but like looking back, my favorite teachers were ones that spoke to me like an adult human with respect. And instead of speaking to me into like a very condescending tone, that was really, really helpful for me. I've had a lot of really, really good teachers. I don't know what I would have done without. So that's why it's so important to have good teachers. And if you are a teacher, try to be a good teacher. Joshi said, so you're saying I shouldn't write my story, how I gooned my way to being the strongest warrior and got 5 wives. If you made that story, it probably could be made into an anime. Joshi, that exists, most definitely. It was probably more than 5 wives. No, for sure. This is like every isekai. Hannah said, God, I'm always amazed by people who are able to communicate those ideas with grace. No, for real. Definitely, I've had bad teachers and I've had good teachers, and you can really, really see a difference. And it's not about how, like, the bad teachers, sometimes they would try really, really hard to like cram as much knowledge as they can into your head, and that's good. But at the same time, treating me with humility and respect is also very, I think that's worth more even sometimes. And like, if you treat me with respect and humility, I'm gonna listen to you more and learn more. Yeah, I'm not a fan of isekai. I don't honestly watch a whole bunch of anime recently. I was thinking about this, like the anime I typically go for, like my favorite anime is Steins Gate. Of course, we love Death Note and like Code Geass. I really loved it, and I feel like it was like this more back in the day when the protagonist was like a crazy, strong-willed person, and like these protagonists were mostly men, but none of them were like perverts. Like, I really liked Lintaro from Steins Gate because he was like, I'm a mad scientist and I really love science and blah blah blah. It was like, there were elements of like romance and like stuff like that, but he was never like stealing people's panties and like pulling out people's skirts and all this like degenerate knuckle dragging bullshit that you're seeing a lot of anime these days. David said, love is love though, and sometimes society deems something inappropriate, so those things tend to happen in private. What are you talking about, my lad? This is starting to sound illegal. Like what are you talking about? Love is love as long as it's between two consenting adults, first of all. Let's get that straight. Christina said, I'm finally reading the Steins Gate VN. It's great. They did release some movies too. And as I recall, one of them had a happy ending and it was nice. Oh, he's a troll. Okay, yeah, I don't know what this guy is. Yeah, I never played the Steins Gate game because I think was it like a romantic visual novel? Wonder how well Luca's storyline has aged though. That's also true. Like, it is an old anime. I think some parts of it are probably a little problematic. I hate watching old anime and being like, wow, this is hella problematic. Like, fucking one of my favorite animes is Chobits. And Chobits is one of the most problematic things ever. It's like he finds a woman in the trash. There's a button inside of her vagina. She's like, I want to live with you. Even, and that guy was a loser. This is back in the day, and that guy was a fucking loser. But the difference is like, I can watch media and be like, these parts aren't good, or like, I'm not gonna do this. Like, this isn't influencing me. But a lot of guys, maybe perhaps like this David guy, and people watch anime and they're just like, this is good. Yes, yes, I want to be like this. And that's the issue. It's like, if you don't have any media literacy, then it's scary because those are the kind of people that are going to get negatively affected by anime and they're going to end up on predator catchers or something. So, like, which is, I suspect, what is happening here. Pink Panthers, is this illegal? Yeah, it should fucking be illegal. Yeah, they have made comments like that in every stream. Never noticed this guy before. Maybe I will block them. I don't know. So it's sometimes interesting to get people like this because I'm just like, how, like, what? Liko said, I accidentally got the bad Ferris Nyan Nyan end my first playthrough because I didn't ruin her life. Oh my god. I need to look into the Steins Gate visual novel. I haven't played a visual novel in a while. David said people dress up and cosplay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You can totally do that if you want. Like, no one's stopping you. If two people are consensually doing things in cosplay, that's fine. People are confused when I tell people Chobits is a guilty pleasure for me. It's a fabulous series, but has a lot of strange themes that need a nuanced perspective. Yeah, it is really messed up. Like, first of all, she had no business being with that loser. And he was very creepy and rapey. Like, he was always like popping boners and stuff. Like, I remember when she was eating natto and he started to get hard. Like, shit, that was weird. But the art was amazing. Like, clam art style is amazing. There's a lot of stuff in anime that you kind of have to ignore. But as I get older, I just kind of like, maybe that's why I just don't watch that much anime anymore. Someone said this to me on one stream. I forget who it was, but they were like, why do you like panty and stocking? Like, isn't that gross and sexual too? And I'm like, it is, but it's in such an over-the-top satire kind of way that it's different, right? Like, it's panty and stocking isn't something that you're supposed to like goon to. X said, I divide my anime recs between novice, beautiful, recommend to anyone, and higher tier weebery that you need the history of trope understanding to look beyond the and enjoy it. Yeah, I have a really good friend, and she'll be like, Katie, you have to watch this anime. It's borderline problematic. I'm like, oh dear God, no. It's fine. Like, again, I can watch it like that, and it's fine. If you are not so susceptible to propaganda, and if you can see stuff and be like, yeah, that's fucked up, that's not good, that's fine. The issue is a lot of people watch that kind of shit and they're like, yeah, this is socially acceptable and I'm gonna do this with my sister. Alki said, my sister and her best friend have explained Hobbit so many times to me. When I was a kid, my older sister normalized ecchi so much, I ended up reading manga that was 70% ecchi and I just tuned it out. Yeah, I just think it's not good for our brains to like constantly consume this kind of thing. In Japan, like when you go to the konbini, they'll be like manga, and then next to it there'll be like the Gravia books, and they'll always have women in bikinis and like this very sexualized stuff on it. And I just think it's not good for like people to constantly see that. And now on Twitter as well, it's like constantly like softcore porn. And like a lot of like mobile games now, like ZZZ and Wuthering Heights, I think it's called, Nikke, they're very sexual. And again, I just don't think it's good. Like we're seeing this real time with this guy that's asking these questions here. This is a very good example of it, like with David. It's like, this is maybe someone who isn't good at understanding themes and possibly what's right from wrong, being bombarded with all of these images and these things which aren't good. And some people are just not good at telling, like looking at media and not being able to like properly read it. Like for example, what's it called, Asakano, whose girlfriend will I be tomorrow, and it was like the manga about like rental girlfriends. There's a character called Yua, and she's the Jedi. She's like the Jedi blueprint. And in the manga, she was like cutting herself and stuff like that. And a lot of Jedi started to dress like Yua and also copy her behaviors. And like Yua's character was doing a lot of bad things. And the mangaka said, like she put out a statement like, I want you guys to know that this is supposed to be like a warning, like you are supposed to be what you don't want to be, please do not replicate her. It's just like we have to be really careful with media, particularly like satire and stuff like that. Is like a lot of people can't tell like this is a bad thing and they shouldn't do this. Like people are just not as good at reading things. As I said, I'm sorry, but that's a type of grooming. Yeah, I really think that is, like, Jesus. Okay, you shouldn't have been reading that kind of stuff. Like, I really don't think it's good for your brain, babes. X said, we are literally talking about this in my Japanese media studies class. That's really interesting. I think it's a really important conversation to have. I didn't realize it until I got older and seeing how much everything is so over sexualized, and it's not good. Like, for example, and like this is probably a bit TMI, but I know a lot of people whose like boyfriends aren't able to have sex with their girlfriends anymore because they watch too much porn and they're so used to like gooning. So it's having real world effects on people and their bodies and their brains, and it's not good. We have to be really careful about what we're consuming. Life said, surprises me that this show would have been on late night TV and high school students may have watched it on broadcast. Yeah, a lot of stuff is just like too accessible. Like a lot of like very tiny kids in Japan watch Demon Slayer and start to get nightmares because it is like really scary. And in Demon Slayer, there's a lot of like over sexualization in that too. So I just don't think that it's good for like little kids to be watching this. Darby said, this happened when a bunch of dudes got into Vinland Saga because they thought it would be hardcore violent series, only for the mangaka to pull the rug out from under them because the manga is anti-war. I love that so much. Yeah, someone recommended fucking Goblin Slayer to me, and I watched the first episode, and I was like, that is horrific. Why didn't you tell me that that happened? And the guy that recommended it to me was like, oh, I forgot about that part. And it's like, how could you forget about that part? It's horrific. Georgie said, why is our birth rate so low? Also Japan. By the way, here's the corn section of the konbini. Yeah, again, like, it's unfortunate, but like, in this generation, a porn addiction is a real thing, and it is really, really bad. Like, it does really, really negatively affect people. So if you find yourself constantly doing that, you really need to take it upon yourself to do it less. It's not good for you. Too much. Waiting for Ace to go crazy over the Asakano mention. Yeah, I did. There's a new Asakano I didn't see, and I started to read the manga too. It was very interesting, but it's also really sad. Asakano is very realistic. Like, I've lived through a lot of the situations mentioned in the manga. It's very realistic. As I said, it's not okay that happened to Oki. I have a similar experience from when I was younger. Oki said, I remember reading it for trans themes, finding trans representation on the 2010s, was looking for food on a wasteland. Yeah, I can see what you mean, like, because a lot of people, particularly when they think that they're gay, the only real representation for that is like reading BL. So that happens. But being forced or having access to that kind of stuff when you're still young is really not good for your brain. Darby said, Boys Run the Riot is a manga I highly recommend for LGBT themes. I will check it out. Oh, me said, trans folk are in desperate needs for content for sure. No, for sure. Particularly for anime and manga too. I feel like trans representation is always like insane. Like, there was that one manga about the Yakuza guys who went through like transgender surgery to become idols or something. It's always like insane. They need some actual like realistic, normal stuff for people. But to be honest, like, a lot of BL and uni is also like insane too. Very, very unrealistic. Ang said, what is a bijin? Bijin means, it's like B for bijutsu, like art. So it's like beautiful art, something very like beautiful in an artful way. And jin is just like person, so it just means beautiful person. Oh yeah, X said what it was. That manga was kind of funny, but yeah. Always be said, also the fact that the less sexual trans people are so underrepresented. Oh my god, this is such an important point as well. And this is something I think the West is also guilty of, is that a lot of like gay representation is also always very over sexualized. And yeah, trans stuff in Japan is almost like a joke. Like, they'll have trans people on TV, but they're also always, it's kind of like a joke. Like, they're always on like variety TV shows, and they always make jokes about it. And it's like they need to approach it in a very serious way that's not at all sexual, and it's just about like gender identity. Oki said, I'm just glad the whole trap thing is over. They always come up with some derogatory name for it, like but yeah, Japan, actually, now I think about it, Japan does need more like manga about trans people that is just better in general. I don't know, because maybe like if you go to like a doujinshi fair, there is some good stuff there. I feel like probably there will be, because there are a lot of trans people in Japan that probably do just want to tell their story in a normal way. Hannah said, I think Hunter x Hunter. Wait, it's just Hunter x Hunter, right? I messed up. I think Hunter x Hunter has a really nice storyline, whereas Kyoyua is a very kind and protective towards his sister, who is implied to be trans and not sexualized at all. That's very good. Yeah, I think we do need like less sexualized storylines, just in general. Like, it's been a long time since I've watched an anime that did not have some form of sexualization. That's why I really like Spy Family. That was great. I was like a cutesy, like, kind of romantic thing where it's not like sexualized at all. That was great. Like, more of that, please. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not a prude, but when you're constantly bombarded with this shit all the time, it you like Alki said, you get like desensitized to it, and that's how it was becoming for me with a lot of like anime. Like, I got so sick of like seeing girls' panty jokes. It's incredibly juvenile and it gets boring very quickly. Alki said things are bleak, I swear. Yeah, it's true. Isa said you very rarely see trans men on TV for whatever reason. That's also very true. I think, controversial opinion, this is very controversial, but like, there are so many women in Japan I have met who are trans men, but they just don't know that this is a thing that they can be. So they just end up being like masculine women that use boku. I've met a Japanese woman and she was like, yeah, I've been really learning. She's like, because in Japan, we don't really have like a lot of like language words for like gender expression. So I've been trying, and she didn't speak English. So it's like, I've been trying to like learn about this from overseas. And it's really, really hard. And I learned about something. In Japanese, it's like genderless. And she's like, I think I'm this, but like, I don't know because like the word genderless is very, it's not like strong. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I really do think that Japan needs more words for this. Because I've met so many really masculine Japanese women, and I've always assumed that they were like trans men, and they're not. And when I talk to them about it, they just don't know that they just don't know that they could transition. Like, this is a thing that they could do. And like, it makes me really sad. And I have spoken to a lot of people who are LGBT and like potentially trans or non-binary, and in Japan they're like, yeah, we just don't have enough enough words for it. Like, Japan does need more words and a little bit more education. However, there is near my house there is a poster for a trans politician that is running, and the poster is like a rainbow and everything, and it says like LGBTQ on it. So that's kind of cool. Like, they're actually like a politician, like a local one. So there are some, and it is potentially getting better. Spitting facts right now. I love Boku girls. Boku girls, they're so hot. I have my heart broken by Boku girl. Oh yeah, like using X gender, which is also valid, but maybe not what they really are. Yeah, that's what I just, Japan's a little bit behind. I really do think that if everyone was educated or they did a TV show about it, like, what if there was like a really popular Japanese drama, for example, and it had a character who is a woman, and then she transitions into a match, and she's a trans man, and then blah blah blah. And imagine that drama took off in Japan. I think there would be so many more trans men, just because I think a lot of people would watch that and be like, that's me, that's what I am, I can do that. And because there isn't that, I just think a lot of people don't think it's a possible thing that they can do. And that's really, really sad, because like, they would probably be much happier if they were able to be the thing that they are. I think it's like, I forget where it was. One country said there's a really like homophobic country. I forget which one. Oh wait, no. I think it was North Korea. I watched a documentary about North Korea, and it was a guy who defected to South Korea. And part of the reason that he defected is because he was gay. And he said in North Korea they don't have a word for it. And they deliberately don't have a word for it so that you can't really be gay if there's no word for it. It doesn't exist. So he's like, I feel like, and he couldn't really like express himself because there is no language for it. So when he went to South Korea, he saw people being like, I'm gay and I like sucking dicks. And he's like, that's me. I can say it now. Now I know how to say it. And then once you can vocalize something, it becomes so much more real, right? This got really deep. Isa said, Bokuko universally loved because same. I love them so much. I think everyone loves a girl that uses boku. Both men and women both love a girl that says boku. I guess they're kind of like tomboys, but yeah, they're so cute. Darby said the local Communist Party has LGBT right posters around here. Augie says having a word is so powerful. No, for real, because like if in your language there wasn't a word for like gay, bi, trans, how are you supposed to, like, a lot of our visualization comes from language, so it's hard to visualize, it's hard to say you are that thing. And then if I'm gay and you're gay and we want to hook up, how are we going to tell each other if there's no word for it? Isn't that insane? Oh my god, I'm learning so much today. So like in general, I think Japan just needs more words for it. 1984 in real life. No, this is really mind-blowing. I think about this a lot in terms of the limitation and imperial nature of English. No, for sure. I think about this a lot for mental health. Not mental health, but like, for example, like ADHD and stuff. For sure, there should be more words. Like, there are different things. Like, the kind of what I have something, and I see other people with what I have, and I feel like there's a word for it, and we just haven't discovered it yet. I feel like it's not quite ADHD. I feel like it's something else. And I know other people that have different, because there's different kinds of ADHD. There's like a spectrum, but like there is definitely like, I have some mental illness that is not yet discovered. It's like undiscovered mental illness for sure. Like, I feel like when I'm like 80, there will be like, everyone's like, I have this. And I'll be like, that's what I had the whole time. And then people will be like, back in my day, they didn't have that. I'm like, no, I was that. We just didn't have a word for it. I think I too have this thing. No, for real. Like, I have something, and it's like very specific because I know, because a lot of people have a very similar thing to me. Just we don't have a word for it. And so I think we're using ADHD, but I don't think that's quite right. Yuhan said, the funny and sad thing is that one Japanese people I met who claimed to be genderless themselves was just using the identity as a cover up for doing inappropriate things to both gender. Oh, that's really sad. That really sucks because um, it really gives a bad name for the actual community. So it's sad when that happens. They found it. It's called millennial. Yeah. It's not. It's I have something else. The Spanish language sure made it hard to conceptualize non-binary people before there was a word. Oh, that's a really good point. Like languages with gendering, like French and Spanish, that must really suck if you are non-binary. I think such a focus on gender is just not good either. Like if everything has to be male or female, I just think there's no point in it. Like in general, I think that people focus too much on gender anyways. Like I think that we don't really need like Miss, Mr, like all this kind of stuff. I think that it is a little bit redundant. So it's actually just that we're star seeds. We're just really cute. But yeah, we're learning a lot more. Like a lot of because like I grew up in the 90s, and for sure I never got diagnosed for having ADHD despite being a very good candidate for it, because people just didn't know, like teachers didn't really know, like they thought of, same as in Japan now, people thought of ADHD as just it being like aggression. Kotori Kon said it might be ADHD, autism ADHD, a mix of ADHD and autism that leads to its own thing. I did suspect that, but honestly, I don't know. I suspect it's something else. I feel like it's a mix of those things and potentially something else. So like, I think again with autism, that because autism is a spectrum, I think there are a lot of different kinds of autism, and I think eventually in the future we will have terms for like all the different ones, and we'll be able to pin them down a little bit more, because a lot of autistic people are very different. And there is a chance that maybe we can categorize it a little bit different. Because remember, it wasn't too long ago that people were just calling everything Asperger's. So, yeah. Life said, I'm certain that smartphones and social media is shoving most of us into the spectrum. I mean, yeah, that doesn't help people's attention spans. But I think it's also that, like, in general, a lot of people are just on the spectrum, and TikTok does. I think if you have ADHD, TikTok and shit like that, short form content is really bad. That's actually why I deleted TikTok off my phone, because it just wasn't good for me. As said, in the Philippines, there are pageants specifically for LGBTQ communities, and they're called Miss Gay Beauty pageants. Oh, that's really, really interesting. Yeah, I think that's really, really good. Japan could be a lot better about LGBT. We still don't have gay marriage. I think you can get married in a couple of pre I don't know, like areas of Tokyo, but it's technically like a partnership. Like it doesn't count. So like if you're a foreigner and you're married to a Japanese person as a same-sex couple, you can't get a visa. Darby said, "Tell me about it." Yeah, a secret third thing. No, for sure. I think that in the future, different mental things will just be better categorized, and it is good because it will help us know a little bit more about ourselves. Learning that I might actually have ADHD was very, very good for me, because it really did help me to understand myself. And when I looked up the symptoms, and also like I have dyspraxia, and dyspraxia and ADHD go hand in hand, and they often overlap. And when I found out I had dyspraxia, it helped me so much, because I was so frustrated with myself, thinking that I'm just really, really like stupid and clumsy, but it's actually like a motoring issue. So that really, really helped me to blame myself a little bit less for things that were just happening to me. And a lot of things made sense. Like, why am I always covered in bruises? Isa said, also, a TikTok sale went through, and now even scarier assholes will own it in the US. Yeah, that's true. TikTok's always been a little bit scary for me in general, and now it's going to be owned. Also, did you see that someone from Saudi Arabia bought EA, like the gaming publisher? What is happening? Neon said, if you could name a brand new mental disorder, what would you call it? This is getting extremely problematic. I love it. I don't know. That's a good point. Because they always have like kind of like weird names. It would have to be something like exciting. But like my brand of ADHD is like I'm quite functional. Because I dated someone whose ADHD was so bad, like they just couldn't pay for their like electricity bill, so they'll be sitting there and then the lights would go out. They kept losing their stuff like every single day. On our first date, they lost their wallet and their phone. It was really, really bad. And like seeing that, I'm like, okay, I'm not like that. As someone who's been deep in DX and self DX world for a few years, it's really, really good to like know more about yourself. And I know people will tell you to like not self diagnose yourself. What people don't understand is that you will not go to a doctor unless you've self diagnosed, because otherwise you'll think it's fine. Like, you have to suspect something is wrong, otherwise you wouldn't go to the doctor to get diagnosed in the first place. And also, if you're like me, there is no upside to getting diagnosed officially for having ADHD. In fact, it could negatively impact my life, so I'm not. In Japan, if you have ADHD, a lot of the time you won't get hired as a teacher. I'm autistic. What now is also I don't know how to say it. As a autism ADHD with dyspraxia. No, for sure. I hope I'm not autistic, because that's like a third thing that I don't need. That's just too many. Like, pick a struggle. So this is what I like about Finnish language, that it's not gender specific. That's good. That's good. We love a not gender specific language. I think it just makes the language easier too. X said, as someone with an American passport would just like to state for the internet that I am completely neurotypical and love law and order. No, for sure. I'm going to America. I have to be like, I love the Republican Party, and I am not mentally ill at all. I have blue hair now, so they probably won't let me in now, actually. Christina said it's also really expensive to get diagnosed. That's another thing. Like, I don't want to spend, I probably have to spend at least 5,000 yen to just get a piece of paper that says I have ADHD on it. But, like, great, thanks. Joshi said, no, for real, why go to a therapist and get whatever's wrong with me diagnosed if I'm able to function and the government is actively cracking down on autism? That's my biggest worry, and maybe I'm being extremely alarmist, but if there's a record of me saying that I have ADHD, what if eventually, when the fascists finally win, like they're already winning, they're going to put all of us in camps. They're going to literally round up all the autistic people, and they're going to put us in some kind of camp. And there's not going to be computers or like trains or any fun autistic stuff in there. It's going to be really boring, I can tell. Nav said, I sent you a video about dyspraxia to my mom and she really liked it. She didn't know she had dyspraxia until her 50s. So hearing someone else talk about the same things was amazing for her. That makes me so happy because I didn't tell my mom, and I'm so mad because I was diagnosed with dyspraxia when I was younger, but my mom had it. And I never got to tell her before she died. Like, she never knew. And my mom carried so much like self-hate about being clumsy. Like, she'd always be like, oh, I'm such an idiot, like blah 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 blah. I think she just never realized. And when she was a kid, she got diagnosed with something called cervitis dance, which is not a real condition, because you have to realize that my mom was born in 1947. So she was diagnosed with this fake thing, and they said it was like a neurological disorder where you just can't stop moving. And I think it was just my mom had ADHD and dyspraxia, like pretty much the same thing that I have, because we are very, very similar. And my mom had quite a hard life because she, I believe, had it much worse than me. Like, my mom was unable to watch a movie from start to finish. Like, she was unable to read a book or anything like that because she would just get so distracted. She was so clumsy, it was unreal. And it made her life really, really hard. And she never found out it was because she was dyspraxic. And I feel like it would have been more of a relief for her. Like, I think that in her head she was just really stupid, and that made me really sad. Dobby said, I hope our names are touching on the watch list. That's so funny. They're gonna get us for sure. There was a Swiss guy who was denied entry from America because he had the JD Vance meme on his phone. And I had the same meme when I went to America, but they didn't check me because I'm just a girl. Lego said, yeah, but they need the autistics to run the trains. Us autists love trains. That's what I mean. If you get rid of all of the autistic people, who's going to run the trains? Who's going to run the air traffic control? Can I just say something wild? My phone just gave me an ad on my video for this AI foot porn thing. Like, what is this? Wait, let me move it. Can you guys see those feet? Why is it showing me this? What is this? What I mean, like the over-sexualization. I just get an ad for like AI foot porn. X says 0 stimulation camps. Oh my god, can you imagine? I always wondered what would happen to me if I was put in like a room, like locked in a room without any stimulation for like a year. What would happen to someone with ADHD? Like, because I constantly have to stimulate myself. Like, I always am watching YouTube. Sometimes I'll watch YouTube and I'll watch reels on my phone. Sometimes I'll watch YouTube and listen to music while I'm working. So I don't know if it's the same for like other people who have ADHD, but for me, if I'm bored, I get like, it actually hurts me. Like, I get physically hurt. If when I was at AOT, when I had to stand there for an hour's net, I would get like physically hurt. David said, sorry for offending you, Bunny. I didn't mean anything by it. I usually have a bit of a joking personality. I was a bit like turned in my head. Sorry for offending you. That's okay, David. No hard feelings. Like, honestly, like, I'm honestly saying this with love, that if you just are a bit more careful about when you're speaking to women, it will, like, your life will get so much better. Like, I'm telling you, like, women will respect you more. I just said probably disassociation. That's so true. Maybe I would just disassociate. I think for me, like, this is a little bit dark, but when I'm going through it, when I'm not in a good space, I have to keep myself constantly stimulated, or like I get dark thoughts. So I feel like if I had no stimulation for a year, I would just become extremely depressed. And I'm not a very depressed person. I think it's just because I keep myself like I don't allow myself to have a single thought. Except before internet access, I was constantly creating. Yeah, maybe I would be a little bit more creative if I wasn't just like doom scrolling constantly. And picking at my skin and hair. Okay, let's not do that. Yeah, I feel like I was doing something like that too. I can't remember what it was. As I said, I skin pick and hair pull. Yeah, my mom used to bite her nails a lot. All Hizmi said, no stimulation translated to sensory deprivation for me. Pretty sure even a neurotypical would go insane after a while. That's really interesting. Yeah, like for me, having no stimulation for a long period of time is just really bad. It's awful for me. That's why working in jobs where I'm forced to be in one place with nothing to do. Like, I was working in a department store and I had to stand on the changing room for 4 hours, just standing there with nothing. It made me feel physically sick. I was starting to just get, and it was making me really depressed as well. Except you're doing a lot there as well. A full-time job in YouTube and printing and having friends and a life. Cat mom, well, no, for real. My life is very, very hectic. I have to do a lot of things, mostly because like these days, I think it's the same for everyone, but everyone needs like 5 jobs to survive. So I've been really busy recently. Have my new full-time job because I do YouTube streaming, 3D printing. I'm working on a fashion collaboration now, and that's taking up a lot of my time. And yeah, making events, upholding friendships is hard because I don't have a lot of time. And these days, when I log on to like Instagram, I have so many DMs from like really like random places, and it gets very, very overwhelming for me. So sometimes people will feel like I'm ignoring them, and they'll get really, really mad. And a lot of people will suspect I don't like them, but it's just because I'll see the message, or like I'll open the message and I'll be like, I'll respond to that later, and then I'll close it, and then I'll just forget about it. So yeah, I like to have many things going on at the same time, but then you get your wires crossed a lot. It seems tiring, but it's so goals. Oh, thanks, Angel. You're very much goals too. I've been working a lot on my art. I think I showed you guys the little guy I made. I'm still trying to think what to do for this collaboration because they want a 3D thing and it has to go on like clothes, and I'm not quite sure like what to do, so I've been working on a lot of art. I was going to design a hair accessory for tomorrow, but it's pretty late, so I'm not sure if I'll have time. My friend's staying over at my house tomorrow, so I probably should clean a little bit. So after the streams end, I will clean, and then if I have time, I will make some accessories for tomorrow. Again, it would just be like angel wings, like maybe 2 small ones and two big ones. You guys saw the ones I made before on my Instagram, but that actually took quite a lot of time because if you do something with 2 colors, you have to switch the filaments, and it's really like a pain in the ass actually. That being said, Sarah, I need to be more aware. Aware of what, babes? I hope I can go on the 10. This should be okay. At least I've never that before, never heard that before, and I love it. What did Alice say? We only have so many spoons in a day. I really love that. And for me, again, I don't know if this is an ADHD thing, but it's kind of different for me. In a day, say the max is like 10 spoons. One day I'll have 10 spoons, and the next 2 days I'll have 1 spoon. I'll get like really burnt out. Like some days I'll wake up, I'll design, 3D print, stream, edit a video, get dressed up, and do like other stuff. And then the next 2 days I will do nothing at all. Like I won't even like wash my hair or like do the dishes and stuff like that. So I'm trying to get more consistent with everything. Ciao! Ciao! I got it from the autistic community, but I know lots of people use it. Like, I really like the spoon system. I think it's really, really good. I think it's because the same with like, as we're saying about like language for like LGBT stuff, it's good to have words that help you visualize things. If I can visualize my own spoons in my head, it really helps me to, it really helps think about what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I think you're not supposed to have a set amount of spoons. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's part of it. The spoons are not a constant number. Okay, that's good, yeah. Yeah, definitely some days I don't have a whole lot of spoons. Sometimes I feel like using my spoons brings infinitely more spoons. And some days I feel like I've never seen a spoon in my life. Oh my god, yeah. Oh, okay, I think you should search this up. This might be good for you too, babes. It's this concept. It is made by, I think it's made by the autism community, yeah. But like, I don't know why it's a spoon, but you have these spoons. And some tasks, say for example, we'll say 10. I don't know how this is because I'm not sure too much about this, but say you have 10 spoons and then you have to think like washing the dishes costs 2 spoons, making dinner 3 spoons, putting out the trash 1 spoon, social interaction 3 spoons, and in today I have 10 spoons, so I have to think about how to use them. And like I think about this sometimes too, like that task would cost a lot of spoons. And again, as we mentioned before, sometimes I'll wake up and I only have 5 spoons. Other times I'll wake up and I'll have 10 spoons. Oh wait, Josh explained it very, very good. Spoons is like your autism HP bar. That's so funny. Extra spicy autism. I saw a autism t-shirt with like the Nando's spice meter. I don't know how problematic that is, but I thought it was really, really cool. Hannah said that's a really familiar sounding cycle. I relate, but I don't know what to do about it. Yeah, I think it's good to research a little bit, and you can even change it. Like it doesn't have to be spoons. It can be like fish, bananas, anything you want. But for me, visualization does help. So that analogy is good for me. Maybe it's not good for everyone, but for me personally, I felt like it helped. Into the spooniverse. That is so funny. Olga said, I remember an image with glasses of water. Consistency meaning having at least some water and not having the same amount daily. That's a good way of doing it. It's interesting how like we can visualize these things in very different ways. As I mentioned before, like last month, I was kind of not in a good space due to some things that happened. So I had 1 spoon frequently, and it was really hard. And when you're healing from something, you'll have 1 spoon, and the next day 1 spoon, and the next day 2 spoons, and the next day 3 spoons, and the next day it goes back to 1 spoon. Like it's also like not linear. Yes, Joshi, but more like energy than HP. Yeah, it's yeah, your energy. It's weird because like sometimes for no particular reason, like today actually I didn't have so much energy at all. Maybe because of the weather. But I still recorded a video. I got dressed. I went out with my friends. So I still did some stuff. It makes me really sad. Like I don't know if you guys have ever played Persona. Oh, this is how I think of my life. If you guys have played Persona, in Persona it's like a day, right? So you have different things you can do in a day. And if it's like you go into town, that's like, it takes a few hours, or it takes the morning. If you study, that takes up your morning. If you go to school, that's your afternoon. If you choose to play games at night, that is your evening gone. So you have, every day you have to plan, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and the object is to make sure that you are managing your time the best way that you can. And it's really, really good for me. A little bit stressful because like you shouldn't have to be productive like every minute of the day, but it really helped me to think I can be productive in, you know, like 4 times a day. And I met someone recently who I was spending a lot of time with, and they just were not good at managing their time in their life at all. Like they were just like really bad at it. And I was like, actually, you could benefit from playing Persona. Like I think that if you could play Persona, you would like see, it would help you think in your own brain. Oh, I woke up, I can do this, 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 and this. It just helps you plan more, because that whole game was about planning. And when I'm thinking, sometimes I visualize like the Persona UI for my life. I love that you say HP Britishly. HP. I don't know. How do you say it? How do I say it? Ang says, yeah, it goes up and down with spoons. Darby said, right, gotta go. Thanks for being so open about this. Really appreciate your support. Love the Persona analogy. Absolutely use that. Darby, thank you. And we're gonna play Cult of the Lambs. Thank you so much. And have a nice sleep. I'm gonna head off soon too. Darby, stop super chatting so much. You're the best, honestly. Thank you for the stream, and thank you for the great conversations. I love you all. We love you too, Darby. We're gonna see you on Friday. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. You're the best. Persona protagonist mindset, being able to do like 2 things a day. But yeah, no, that's true. Like he'll like study and it would take like 5 hours. That's so funny. George says someone needs to make a Minecraft mod with a spoon bar. That would be so good. Yeah, Alisa, it's like hunger in Minecraft. That's why I think this all the time. The reason I don't really like survival games, like, you know, like games where your hunger bar goes down and like you have to like, you build something and like some, like a different person will come and like smash it down. I already feel like I'm playing a survival game in real life. Like every day I have a finite amount of resources, and I have to really think about how I'm going to use those resources in order to survive. So why would I want to play a fucking survival game? I'm already doing that. I want a game where it's fun and easy and nice. As I said, I had a dream where that UI showed up when I got into a checkpoint. Oh my god. That game has been so impactful to my life. Sometimes I'll meet someone who I know is going to be integral to my life, and in my head it comes up with the Arcana card, like new card. This I forget how it shows, but it shows like they appear as like a card, and like, you know, oh, this person is integral to the story. I will meet someone, I'm like, oh, this person, they're integral to my story. Maybe Alisa, when I met you, it came up with the card. No, that's so real about survival games. I don't know why survival games is still so popular. Like everyone collectively is surviving every day. Like I don't need a game to play that. Like I'm literally living that right now. That's why we, like in the pandemic, everyone got really into like farming sims. Everyone wanted to just pretend to be a little farmer growing tomatoes. Like it was so bleak. That's what I like to do now. Like all the games I play is like I'm a little anthropomorphic animal living in the forest, and my biggest task today is I've got to produce enough jam for the town bazaar. It's like, yes, that's the kind of life I want to live. I am thou art I. That is it. Oh, okay. Oh my god, I love that so much. I strongly visualize it. Christina said, glad to have spent my morning with y'all. Time to go to class now. Yay, we'll stream very soon. I'm gonna also head off now because I still have to clean, because Yumichi's coming over tomorrow and I want it to be sparkling pika pika for her, and I want her to be able to relax and have a good time. So I gotta get scrubbing my kitchen. Thank you so much for coming, guys. I missed 2020 Animal Crossing era. That was the closest I had to peace. Oh my god, I swear to god. let's talk about that a lot in the next stream. That would be really interesting. Thank you guys so much for coming. I'm gonna head off now, and we didn't see a single cat during the stream. That's sad. But yeah, thank you so much. Love you guys. Don't forget to join the Discord, and I'll see you in the next one. Yay! Bye, Jimmy.